Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. How are we? Usual wave or one in the chat if you can hear me, please. Guys and dolls, I just had the most delicious Turkish kebab. I do think that Turkish kebab is now my favorite food. It was so delicious. You know how they just like make it so succulent? Oh my gosh, amazing. All right, all right. Right, let's see who's here. Lydia, Anna. Anna, YouTube will take you down if you say the C word, but they let hate mongers keep their accounts. Yeah, that's a very interesting point, and that is true. So you know my last two podcasts that I did say the C word, and my both of those videos got held for review. So it is true that they're clamping down on that word because the algorithms don't understand context. So even if you're talking truth, it will just assume that you've said something wrong until a manual moderator comes in. They literally have to watch your entire video to understand the context in which you use that word. So it's a very yeah, that argument, a lot of people have been having that debate. Hi Sylvia, running errands. Who else is here? Polena, hello. Annie, fancy. Lindell, hello. Happy Friday. Church Nelly, hello. Rosa, hello. Who else? Mary H. Joan. Denise. I don't know if you've seen this, guys and dolls, but a lot of these self-help coaches now, because they can't have their self-help events in arenas, they're doing virtual events where they've got everybody's faces up on these giant boards, so it feels like you're in like a virtual arena. I wonder if we should do one of those events one day and just for squaddies. Because I can't say that I'm not curious to actually see what your faces look like. Like in my mind, I feel like I have an idea of what you look like, but I bet in real life it's completely different. I would love for us to do something like that. I think it would be quite funny. Let me just scroll down, see who else is here. Denise, Melita, hello. Julia, hello. Lucy Wynn, Colleen. By the way, if anyone has any remedies for croaky voices, please drop them in the comment section because you probably notice like I have to clear my throat a lot because I don't know what it is. It's like my voice just gets really croaky, even when I haven't spoken a lot. So if you've got any cures for that, please do let me know. Hello, Elizabeth Daniels, Denise Jones. Oh, comments are coming in fast today. Hello, Sherdal. I'm doing great, thank you. Rubbing in with your Turkish kebab. It was delicious. I live in a very small village, so there's a lot of small businesses, independent restaurants. And I feel like you always get the best foods there, not at these kind of mass chain restaurants where they still have fast food practices. Like a lot of the foods in the local restaurants are always still cooked from scratch. Hello, Joyce. Elaine. Okay, I think all of the usual culprits are here. Hey, Castillo. Let me just try and scroll all the way down. Honey, lime, and white rum. It's a Jamaican cure. Heal my throat and get drunk at the same time. Okay, I'll give it a try. Cheese, milk, and dairy make my voice coarse. Try cutting out if you haven't already. No, honestly, I've heard about that as well, especially with singers. They try to avoid that, but it doesn't matter like what I have or haven't eaten. My voice just gets really croaky. Who else is here? Infuse local honey with garlic and add tea or take a teaspoon. Okay, I'll try that as well. Hot water, honey, and cinnamon, and cloves if you like them. Okay. Mm. Um, Teresa, if you had one of those events, royal rodents would lose it. How would they dismiss all the sausage supporters or bots if that happened? Do you know what? I'm going to say it loud so the Lord can hear. One day, the Sausage Squad are going to have a mass live event. I'm going to call it into existence. We need to do it. Do you know, like, we already did the Sussex Squad, the Squadathon. That was a 12-hour podcast that Sussex Squad podcasted, Tina and Michelle. I actually did help on the back end with that podcast. Some people may not know that. But I would love for us to take it to the next level and do some kind of mass virtual event. Like, yeah, I'm going to talk to Tina about that. Oh, you're coming in with your cures. Okay, do you know what? When after the podcast, I'm gonna watch this back and go through all of your cures. Yes, Miss Levy, I've had Afghani kebab as well. My best friend is Afghani. It is delicious. Sounds like I need some vocal cord. Yes, share. Oh my god, genius. I never actually do vocal warm-ups, which is kind of silly because I'm gonna talk. Well, I usually talk for about an hour or so, and I never do vocal warm-ups. Thank you so much. I will do that. Sylvia, I love the squadathon as well. It was amazing. Hello, Mrs. V. How are you? How are you, my darling? Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, so just before we get started today, before I take Usher off of the screen and get to the main point of today's talk, after your feedback, I will, or I have decided to just start a separate channel for the more lifestyle level up stuff. And you are under absolutely no obligation whatsoever to subscribe to that channel. It is just for people who are interested in that type of content. And if you are interested in that type of content, I will let you know when the channel is live, when I start uploading, because I also do have another channel on prepping, which I also want to work on. So I might not always have time to work on the other channel as well. And I still want to make this like my main priority. I'm not gonna slide away because I'm working on other things. This channel will always be my main priority. But I am going to start another channel for the more lifestyle, kind of like the TIG kind of stuff. I think a lot of you kind of said that you liked that kind of content. So that's what I'm going to do with that, and I'll let you know. And you are under no obligation to subscribe to that channel. If you like that content and if you like the meditation stuff, then please come and join me. If not, this is still going to be my main focus. Kennetha Ash, how is Tina and Michelle? I don't speak to Michelle, but I do speak to Tina, and Tina is okay. They're just really busy. Ask the GP to check your throat. Oh, that's a good point. I mean, I don't think I have anything wrong. It's just as soon as I start, talking, does my voice goes croaky, and it doesn't matter how much water I always have water with me. That doesn't seem to help either. Mm. Public service announcement, Camilla Tominey is a liar. Just in case we needed a reminder, because we didn't all already know that Camilla Tominey is a liar. The squadathon was great. Yes, the squadathon was great. And I did wonder how it would go. But it went so fast actually for something that lasted 12 hours. Um, I think they did actually consider doing one that was 24 hours. But just the amount of work that would take, and you'd probably need two people to take over like each shift. So like one person do 12 hours, another person do another 12 hours. But okay, enough of that. Let's get into today's talk. And obviously I'll put a nice picture of We'll put a happy picture, even though we're talking about a sad topic. We'll put a happy picture up. Maybe this one. Yeah, this is a happy Friday picture. So, Tasha K, sorry, Megan, gosh, not Megan the Stallion, Cardi B, Cardi B won her case against Tasha K. Um, and a lot of people are now saying, is this going to be a precedent for Meghan to perhaps sue her trolls and her haters? And Cardi B herself did post on social media, I would like to talk to Meghan Markle. And I just want to have a discussion about, should Meghan sue her trolls, the pros and cons, and perhaps some of the alternatives? Because as much as we're all singing praise, and it's great that Cardi won her case, um, I'm not a lawyer, and if anybody is a lawyer, please do help us in the comment section. But I do wonder from the perspective of the law, to what extent this will um, open the door um, for more people to sue. Now, should Meghan sue? Of course she should. I mean, there's no question. But what I want to perhaps have a discussion about and establish is, to what extent does this actually open the door? Is it that simple that this is now the president has been set and everybody can go and sue, and everybody within reason is going to win their case? And I think there's a couple of other things that we also need to consider. Um, First and foremost, Megan's going to do whatever she wants to do, whatever's best for her, whatever her lawyers say is best. And that is always going to be what I support, and I think what we all support. However, I will also say, I think there's a couple things that we need to consider. Number one, Megan just went through a court case, a very, very big court case, and what I think would have been somewhat of a traumatic court case, because this has been going on for almost 3 years. During that time, she lost the baby. And so, having just come out of one court case, she may not want to jump into another, especially because her husband's court case is coming up. Harry's also going to have a major court case with Murdoch, Rebecca Brooks, and I believe Piers Morgan is also involved in that. So, even if she does sue or decide to take this up in the court of law, it may not be for a while. So I think we need to consider that. Also, this case was won in the US. So again, I'm not a lawyer, and if anybody does have any understanding of this, would this set a precedent just for US law? Would it have any effect on the laws in the United Kingdom? That's another question that I personally have. I don't have the answer to that question, but it's just something that I've considered. I'm gonna go back to your comments before we continue. As usual, when the squad does something that exceeds expectations, absolutely. We raised what, 25 grand in those 12 hours. If someone does a marathon, they can't do more than 12 hours on one channel. YouTube does not process, so all that work would disappear. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. So we might have to do it on two separate channels, or do it on another platform. But look what you're saying. M&H always stay above the fray. They think long term, are strategic and surgical. They reveal their cards when the time is right and take their prisoners. I love our faves. Yeah, and we need to give them the time to do what's right for them and when the time is right, and not just have this expectation that we're going to jump straight into the lion's den. Oh, Megan's necklace. Oh, if you just type in Megan Zodiac necklace, it will tell you the exact brand. I think they're about $1,100 each, depending on whether you get the silver or the gold, I think. See what you're saying. Ruth, Megan should sue. They're already attacking her babies with our lies, and they will never stop as long as they make money. Yeah, that is true. Sharpie, Cardi's case took 2 years. Meghan's recent case took 3 years. I think for Meghan, that would be something to think about. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Um, Trina, how difficult is it for Meghan to sue the two women who are in the UK? I don't know that question. Sorry, I don't know the answer to that question, hun, because and again, it goes back to what I was saying: UK law versus US law. You know, what are the actual what is the actual precedent to be able to sue? And that's why I feel like we do need a lawyer to actually lay this out, because we can't just assume because Cardi B won her case. To be honest with you, in Meghan's case, we're not just talking about one individual blogger. Yes, there are sorry, we've got a whole group of hate channels. We've got a whole culture of hate that surrounds Meghan, and then on top of that, you've got the whole of the darn British establishment. I mean, if we're really gonna go, really deep into this, Meghan should sue the whole press system, the whole royal family, and the whole British establishment who are also involved, including certain politicians, for libel. What Meghan is facing, with all due respect, not to minimize Cardi's pain, but what Meghan is facing is a whole different level. We're not just talking about one troll, we're talking about trolls and the whole establishment. And that's another thing that I also think we need to consider here. Jet aviation, the thing is, if Meghan sues, the trolls are getting the attention they've been craving. Yes. And this is what I wanted to go on to. And yeah, more of you are saying this. I hope she doesn't, because it elevates the haters to a global audience. And this is what's going to be one of the cons if Meghan does sue, is you could end up with the Streisand effect, where they end up getting more attention. And because these are UK trolls, whose side do you think that the British media is going to take? I guarantee you they will have these women on the talk shows. They will be giving them interviews. They will be giving them press. It doesn't matter if the aliens land tomorrow. If Meghan Markle is in a court case with her trolls, that will be on the front pages. And this is the problem. This is the other side of if she does decide to ever seek legal action against these people. Church Nelly, yeah, I forgot Harry has a court case coming up. Yeah. So can you imagine the two of them in two huge court cases at the same time? That is a lot of emotional baggage. I can imagine it's you'd be able to, or if I was in their position anyway, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, you could probably handle one person going through a major court case and emotionally supporting them, or the other person and emotionally supporting them, but two people at the same time, going through something like that, that's very, very heavy, especially if they have two children and they're trying to run a business at the same time. C-Mac, I just wonder if she can sue people in another country, but her stepsister is in America. I do want her to take that hate and pee out. Yeah. There's actually a video of Samantha Markle's, I believe it's her daughter, and I don't know if it's her auntie or her mum. I'm not sure, but there's a video of them two talking about Samantha Markle and basically just saying what a horrible person she is and what a nice person Meghan is. And it's only very recently that I saw this video. So even when people who can speak the truth, who know people like Samantha, who knew Meghan, when they say nice things about Meghan, that doesn't get wide coverage. I believe that interview was done a while ago. I only just saw it the other day. But yeah, I think that she should. I don't know. Should she do something about Samantha Markle? I feel like people like Samantha Markle end up destroying themselves in a way because they're just so bitter and jealous. So, as much as I think that eventually Meghan should go after the trolls, I don't think she needs to go after Samantha Markle. I feel like she's one of those people who she is a walking, talking self-destruct button, and she'll do herself. Carolyn, I hope Meghan at least think about pulling these hate and lie channels down, and when it's a good time for her and her family. Yes, I agree for that. Personally, I think the media is brutal and very destructive, especially when they do not verify the facts before writing. They have to be stopped ASAP. Yeah. I still don't understand how we, we say that we live in these advanced democracies, and yet big news organizations can outright lie. And this isn't just to do with Meghan. It's the whole this is the whole media system that needs to be restructured and rethought. And I think the only way is we're ever going to get to a point where we can get 100% truthful, balanced news is if we just pull our attention away from a lot of these media giants because our attention is their currency. If we want truth, we have to stop listening to the lies. Latoya Poopface is the first one. She should too because he's threatening to come after another country to the USA to harass Meghan. Mm, again, with her going after Piss Moron, um it's a double-edged sword because he wants that attention. And can you imagine if Meghan did take these people to court, presumably, again, I'm not a lawyer, presumably she may have to go to the UK and actually face these people in person. And I'm pretty sure that that is exactly what they want. That is the attention they want from her, from the world. Can you imagine her having to walk in day after day, going into that courthouse, the headlines? That's exactly what they wanted with this farce of a daily fail court case that she had with her letter. That's what they wanted. Tasha K was so brazen she admitted to being malicious. I don't know if Meghan's trolls have been that dumb. They tend to hide behind their so-called sources. Yes, and that's another difference between Tasha K and these trolls, is that Tasha K in many, many ways incriminated herself. I think she even admitted to lying and yeah, I mean, not that I think that any of them are particularly smart people, but I think that Meghan's trolls are being a little bit more how would you say uh I don't want to say careful. They're not being as they're dumb, but they're not being as dumb as Tasha K is what I'm trying to say. Yes, Queen Bee. My concern is for Meghan's safety as well if she goes to the UK because she would have to go, and we now know that the firm and the Home Office have put Harry and Meghan in a situation where their safety would be compromised if they went to the UK. So that's another thing that I'm sure is going to weigh heavy on Meghan's mind if she chooses to take up this case. Lydia, Mr. Boozy said the standard is lower in the UK than the US. He suggested she do the main three trolls. If you cut off the head, the rest will fall. Yeah. Mm. I mean, I said from the beginning that I believe that um there is room, particularly for the Yankee Wally troll, because she did physically threaten Meghan and she was deleted from Twitter and she has a previous firearm offense. So I think if she was going to go after any of them, she should probably go after her. I would be surprised if there weren't grounds to go after her, especially because she physically threatened Meghan. Sheena, I think she's only going to sue if she has a high certainty that she will win. Absolutely. And I don't blame her because court cases are stressful, incredibly stressful. And when you add the absolute circus that the British press will turn it into, even me just thinking about it, I'm just like, Christ. Um, Gleand, I'm not a fan of Cardi. She's awful. Tell us what you really think. But I think it does set a precedent in the US. Who needs to be taken to the court are the platforms. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the US who understands this a little bit more, wasn't there some kind of law that was put in place that it makes it difficult to go after these platforms? And that's one of the reasons why nobody has gone after the platforms. Please, if anybody has any knowledge on that, let me know. I don't know. Oh, the necklace. Yeah, it's a pretty expensive necklace, hun. But it looks like one of those pieces that will last you a long time, like a keepsake. Sylvia, I feel Harry and Meghan will deal with the hate situation together. We know Harry has been a part of the Aspen community. Yes, and this is another thing. Thank you for mentioning that, Sylvia, that we do also need to consider that Harry and Meghan are working with organizations to deal with these issues. So it could well come to a time where some of these organizations start working with people like the Aspen community, some of these executives who are on the executive boards of these big companies like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter listen and start collaborating. So we can actually find ourselves in a situation where they don't have to sue at all. There's just the platforms just come to a mutual agreement eventually that they will deal with these type of people. And that takes on actually to the alternatives. Well, what are the alternatives if Meghan and Harry don't sue? Well, the alternatives are what I just mentioned. Um, Organizations like the Aspen Committee having influence and finally getting these platforms to listen, and the platforms could actually listen. And another alternative is a much more slow burner that you let the trolls destroy themselves. And that does happen sometimes with people. They get too big for their boots. They make the wrong move. They get too comfortable and they bring themselves down. It could take a lot of time, but that happens quite regularly, especially with YouTubers and their big egos. Sorry, let me just go to your comments. Church Nelly, 1K for a zodiac necklace, but again, a sewing kit. So, okay, if you type in Meghan zodiac necklace dupes, it will take you to different places. I think there's a really nice seller on Etsy that does a dupe, but it's like $20. So you don't have to spend that much, darling. uh, See, Mac, I just saw your comment about the wheelchair brakes. I will not put it on the screen, but I can't say that I disagree. And the Lord probably doesn't disagree, and he forgives you too. Um, oh, thank you so much, Shadell. Thank you so much, darling. Highly appreciated. Happy Friday to you. Tash Mac, the trolls have already had the attention they crave along with money earned from hate. Showing them set the standard for profit for hate that shouldn't be allowed on social media. Yeah. And the last alternative, sorry, because I sidetracked a bit. The last alternative is that if the trolls don't destroy themselves, or the social media platforms don't collaborate and do something about it themselves, then perhaps trying to find a way that we can just go after the social media platforms, either by forcing their hand with the court of public opinion, and the court of public opinion does work sometimes, or lobbying ourselves for changes in the law. So those are the other alternatives, as opposed to Meghan and Harry having to sue the trolls, sorry, themselves. Marsha, the real problem is the platforms allow the hate channels to flourish. This is a matter that needs to be taken to Congress. Yeah, exactly, and that's something that, as a collective, we can lobby for. Not just Americans going to Congress, but also here in the UK, taking it to Westminster. We could actually be the ones that set the precedent for these laws to be changed. Carolyn, Tasha K got exactly what she was coming. She knew she was lying and kept on lying. I'm glad Cardi B won. Yes, and I do believe that at one point she even tried to get Cardi on her show. So basically, like, blackmail her and say, if you come on the show, then I'll stop talking about you. I mean, that's exactly what Piers Morgan does, right? God, she's probably read Piers Morgan's book. Absolutely awful. And if you haven't watched it, please don't go and watch it, and don't give her any more views. But she basically did a response video where she doesn't say sorry once. She makes excuses, no accountability. You can just tell that this is someone who was a complete and utter narcissist. Because it's not even like it was, funny, laugh and forget kind of menial gossip or anything like that. It was some really, really horrible things that she was saying about Cardi B, saying that she had STDs, that she was a prostitute. These are not um things that you just make up about someone. And certainly even if they were true, not something that you laugh at someone for or make gossip fodder out of. Um, if Megan sues, they'll go after YouTube directly. They're already working on Google. Well, Google owns YouTube, so if they're going after Google, then well, Google is YouTube. Sorry, I think someone donated, but I missed their name. Apologies to that person. Only sue if threat becomes life threatening. Too many crazies out there. I believe that it's already become life threatening. I believe that we are already in that situation. Mary H, I think Duchess Meghan and Prince Harry should just be happy. That really gets under their skin. Yeah. Be happy, Duchess Meghan. That's the best medicine, and stay away from Cardi B. So I'm not going to get into this here, but there was a few arguments on Twitter because there are some people who are squaddies who don't want Meghan to go anywhere near Cardi B, and there's others who are saying that that's an elitist kind of way of thinking. Yeah, I'm just saying that was going down on Twitter. I'm not going to get into who's right and who's wrong. Meghan's going to do what Meghan wants to do. Thank you so much, Joan Garcia. Oh, I appreciate your uplifting energy too, Joan. I appreciate you too. And I know there's someone else that's donated. I'm so sorry that I'm missing your name. It's not showing up for me for some reason. That's really annoying. Don't worry, darling. I will put you in my weekly thank yous on the community tab if I ever miss you in the chat. I'm very sorry. Vinnie Blair, no one wants to develop the reputation of being litigious. H&M will decide if the family can withstand the trauma of so many cases. Yeah. Because if they did go after those 3 trolls, holy moly, the British press are going to turn it into the trial of the century. Going to be an absolute circus. Stephanie, perhaps YouTube and Twitter will take them down before it comes to that. Tasha K was a very vicious person, so I hope she loses her following. Yeah, and that's another possibility. Twitter and YouTube could just take them down, or at least remove their monetization. If you remove their monetization, then they'll disappear. Sandy Powell and Dorothy Ross. Dorothy Ross, what are you doing? Dorothy Ross, I am not worthy. I am not worthy. You are. I'm actually gonna cry right now. I'm actually gonna cry. Oh my god, you were so generous. I'm actually crying. Oh my god. You were so generous. I can't believe that a complete stranger would be that generous. Thank you so much, Dorothy Ross. That's so kind of you. Thank you. I literally don't know what to say. Thank you. I hope you're blessed that much right back as well. Oh my god, like I feel like I need to take a moment right now. Thank you. You guys know that like I just appreciate you just watching, but, like, I never expect anyone to be that generous. Thank you. Oh my god, I did not expect to cry. I did not expect to cry today. Thank you. Oh my god. Just take a moment. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay, Sandy, sorry, I was reading your comment. You said the Sussexes have a lot of projects going on. It would be foolish to sue all trolls and haters and too expensive and time consuming. Lord Nappyhead first. Exactly. One enemy at a time. And you know what? Lord Nappyhead, Rothamir he's one of the number one enemies, Rothamir and Murdoch. And if you take out the big ones, then the sheep will scatter. So that's another thing to consider. If they can go after the big one, then maybe they won't have to go after the little cockroaches. Melita, as much as I want them to sue, I don't think this case is so easy, especially because this is in the UK. Yeah, Meghan would have to provide proof of things they're stating on their channels, and that's another thing, and that's another thing that the UK press would want. They would want her to talk about her personal life and her private life. you, you guys are still talking about the necklace. I really triggered you with the necklace. Like, yes, it's £1,000 plus. 1,000 for a necklace. Is there a Tinder for jewelers? Asking for a friend. I'm sure you can get a cheaper version on Etsy, guys and dolls. Or should I reach out to the company and ask for a free necklace, and then I could do a giveaway for you guys? I might actually try that. Let's see if we can get a giveaway. Um, Tash, the point is that it won't matter if she uses or not. The British media will continue to attack Meghan. So in these 3 women will at least address the vile social media attacks. I think we do need to get to like the bottom of um who could be, and if there is someone behind these 3 women, or or the bot attacks on social media. I don't know if did I show this to you in a previous podcast. Um, there was a squaddy who managed to. It's like she put in a couple of letters, and then all the bot accounts just came up. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to see if I actually showed this to you, because if I haven't, I'm gonna show it to you. It's kind of crazy. The UK trolls are using an American platform, therefore they are subject to American laws. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's a different dimension added to it. I didn't know that. I assumed that if they were in the UK, they would be subject to UK laws. But if it works that using an American platform, you're subject to American laws, um, that's interesting. It was Black Queen that gave the super sticker. Thank you. I knew I'd missed someone, but it wasn't showing up for some reason. Um, Thank you, Black Queen. Mm. Lydia, they could cut out the middleman and go after YouTube, who allows his channels on. Go to the very top. Yeah. I mean, they could certainly talk with some of the executives, but I don't know if they're actually able to sue. Yes, Queen Bee, I agree. We need to be patient with Meghan. I'm sure their lawyers are on it. I'm sure that Jenny Afia is not getting any sleep. Jenny Afia is not sleeping. Fundraiser for coffee for Jenny Afia. Um, Okay, so quite a few of you are saying that they could be subject to American laws because they're using an American platform. Mm. These trolls aren't well. It's YouTube's job to take them down. Yeah, but I get the feeling that if if we went after the platforms and tried to get a change ourselves, we wouldn't just be talking about these three individual trolls. We'd be talking about the whole ecosystem. And so, therefore, because we're talking about the whole ecosystem of YouTube and social media, I think we also have to bear in mind that there would be a lot of people who would actually push back because there's a lot of people who literally want the right to say anything and everything, regardless of how hateful and hurtful it is. So that's just something else to consider. If we as a collective try to take this to the law and to the courts and say that we want this law changed, we also have to bear in mind that there are going to be a lot of people who don't want that change, and they will push back. So this is going to be a long fight. This isn't just about Meghan and her trolls. It's about a whole ecosystem of hatred that we're up against. Yankee Wally has striking resemblance to Samantha Markle. Maybe that's what they like about each other. Okay, I'm going to try and get through your comments a little bit faster. Um, need to find out who's pulling these troll strings. Someone is benefiting from Harry and Meghan abuse, not just the trolls. Yeah, I've said this before, and I know it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I do believe that they're being helped by higher powers. I really do. I don't believe they're acting alone. Oh, Lisa. Oh, it's Samantha's mother and daughter that's in the video. Okay. Well, from the portion of the video that I watched, they didn't say anything about bad about Meghan. From the part that I watched, anyway. Um, yeah, Melita, I don't recommend Meghan giving Piers Morgan attention. I don't ever want her to say his name. And that's the best medicine. I think for him specifically, it's the best medicine because he's definitely losing his popularity. I mean, wasn't it only a couple of months ago we were talking about how he only sold a couple thousand books? And literally all he has now to go on is Meghan's name. A 30-year career, and all you can do is talk about a woman who's never paid any attention to you. He's on he's on his way out. So I don't think that Meghan has to worry about piss more on too much for too long because even his own followers are getting bored of him. Oh, thank you so much, Kat Harlem. I have to attend a meeting, so I'm signing off. I'll catch the recap later today. Have a great weekend. You too, darling. You have a great weekend too. Robin Rogers, I don't recall hearing Cardi B's voice during Meghan's trials and tribulations. Well, this is one of the reasons why a lot of squaddies were like, nope, we don't want you, Cardi. So, yeah, everybody got their own opinion on that one. Um, Sonia, better late than never, darling. Fashionably late. Okay, so the only other thing that I really wanted to mention about this is that while all this is going on, a lot of the haters have actually gone kind of silent. I noticed that even on Twitter the last couple of days, there hasn't been as much activity. It's been a little bit more quiet, even with the royal rodents. And I do think that this whole case has put just the whole gossip ecosystem on notice. And at least for the time being, people are going to start being a little bit more careful. So I don't think it's gonna make any large immediate changes. I think people will kind of pull back, see how much they can get away with, see what direction this is going in, and then see where this ends up in a couple of months to a year. Because as a lot of you have said, YouTube, Twitter, all of these platforms do have a lot of money to gain by these hater channels being up because unfortunately hate sells. So it's not like they themselves are immediately looking to do the right thing because they're thinking about their pockets as well. So it's going to be an uphill battle. Mm. Mac, I can't remember which channel said she should trademark her name. So every time they say it, Megan gets paid. I don't think I've ever heard of any celebrity doing that, so I don't know if Megan's going to be able to do that. Alrighty, there's nothing else that I really wanted to talk about, guys and dolls. So if you want to clock out, then feel free to. As usual, I'm just going to run through your comments, and we'll just have a nice little regular chat. But I really don't have anything to add to this conversation, so I'm just gonna read your comments and see what you have to add to this conversation. But that's all for today, really. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody who's donated. Thank you, Dorothy Ross, for making me cry. And yeah, we're just going to go through the comments, but have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Um, Lily Bell, if Samantha Markle is on disability and making money from these hate accounts, then the tax man needs to hear about it. Yeah. And that was another thing with Tasha K, wasn't it? She wasn't paying her taxes for like 3 years. And I let me the IRS tax people sound more scary to me than HM Revenue and Customs here in the UK. Vinny, Megan does not need to expose herself to any more trauma right now. She need to concentrate on her babies. Yeah. I think it's just going to do it. It's going to be at the right time. Clara, the Crown, government, police, and newspaper, especially Daily Mail, working together, according to James O'Brien. Wouldn't surprise me, especially because they're trying to distract from the fact that Boris Johnson is just like the worst UK Prime Minister probably since Thatcher. It's absolutely disgraceful. My apologies. I was actually going to do a news roundup yesterday, but I just got too busy. And I was going to go through like some of the things that are happening in the UK. There's meant to be a report coming out about the situation with the Christmas parties, but I think the whole thing is just a farce, to be honest. And I actually don't think that Boris Johnson is going to resign. I think it's all just a big circus. He should resign, but I think that they'll protect him. Mm. Carolyn, right when Megan pays Piers Morgan dust, that hurts him more than anything. That's what he wants. He lives to Megan's attention. Yeah. And it's been what? 3, 4 years? The only time that she acknowledged him was when there was that whole thing about um him saying that he didn't believe her about the suicide, and she didn't even acknowledge him because of what he said about her. It was about what he said and how that would affect other people. So she's never really directly acknowledged him at all. Militia, honestly, after seeing the security issue leaked to the press, you know they're all working together. I would forget about it in a way because she might have to go to the UK and it's too dangerous. Yeah. Duchess, what do you think Meghan and Harry will stay will stay with Prince Charles? God, I hope not. Absolutely not. I hope not. I don't think they wouldn't have a reason to stay with him. Um, have those kids around him and Camilla? No. They didn't want to protect them when they were in Canada, so I don't think they'll be safe with Charles and those courtiers. I don't think they're safe anywhere around those courtiers. Black Queen, yeah, they default to the First Amendment, and I've heard a lot of US commentators, even when people say the nastiest things, they default to the First Amendment. Even though I think most people recognize that there's a line between free speech and abusing free speech to incite hatred. Yeah, they're working together to protect Boris from his mess and other issues. Church Nelly, the US has a law banning suing platforms. Yes, I've heard about this, which is why I think it will be very difficult. And so, if you were going to sue the platforms, you'd have to literally change the law. That's going to be an uphill battle. Ah, okay. Section 230. It keeps them from being held responsible or sued for content posted by its users. Ah, okay. Robin, the IRS will eventually eat Samantha. uh, I hear so many of my American friends complaining about the IRS that I believe that. I believe that they will literally eat her, physically eat her. Um, yeah, Melita, you have to choose your battles. It's tiring and draining. More draining to go out on that battlefield than to just let things be sometimes. When the internet first started, the creators made sure the platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube can't be held liable. Yeah, I've always felt that we didn't think ahead. Well, I'm sure there were some people who were thinking ahead and people who did sound the alarm that there are certain things that we need to do to protect ourselves, and that there are certain aspects of the physical world that are going to spill into the internet world and that could affect us negatively. But I think a lot of people were just in such in a rush, that whole dot-com boom, um, that they didn't want all that red tape. And look at where we are now. Thank you, Brendan Phillips, for the super sticker. Sorry, I almost missed that. Sometimes it shows on my side of the chat, and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm very, very sorry if I have missed anyone. It was not on purpose. So thank you so much, Brendan Phillips. Um, um, Queen Bee, my vote is that Meghan sits still for now. I think the Tasha K takedown is just the beginning. I think the law in this area will become clearer with time. Yes, and the law does take time. Doesn't just happen overnight. Does not just happen overnight. Mm. Thank you so much, Lisa, for the super. See, I'm missing so many of your super stickers. I don't know why the chat does this sometimes. Thank you so much. Happy Friday to everyone. Soon. Yeah, ultimately, I agree with you. Megan should let her lawyers deal with the issue. What? Spectra. The classy Duchess doesn't throw on $3 sweatshop jewelry like someone. Who's that somebody else, Spectra? It's Friday and you lot want to be messy. You know what's even more funny is I actually saw a whole headline about that certain someone else's $3 shop jewelry. Oh. Uh, eh, Meghan trolls are working for Murdoch, Rothermere, and Prince William. Maybe. Can you imagine how much of a scandal, though, that would be if that actually came out to be true? Because right now it's just a conspiracy theory, but I believe that that's true. But time will tell. Mrs. V, it is the social media company's responsibility to stop the hate being spread on their platforms. I love the idea of Meghan just suing, but she is best to ignore the nuts. Yeah. I mean, if anything, if she doesn't sue for the trolling, I still do think that she should go after Yankee Wally for literally threatening violence because she did. I don't know if you saw the tweet or what she wrote, but she did physically threaten violence, and that I know for sure is an offence. Okay, I'm gonna see what else you're saying. Carolyn, the worst thing Tasha K did was saying that Cardi has herpes when she kissed her baby. Social media went on her so bad simply because she kissed her baby. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. So I don't follow Cardi B, and I didn't even know who Tasha K was before this case. So I don't really know about all of these details, but that's really awful. Yes, Sandy, hate is an acid that will destroy its container. Yeah, and it's like I was saying earlier, they could end up just destroying themselves. Denise, wasn't Cardi B on Yankees list of targeted black or brown people? Oh, that's interesting. I haven't actually read the report in detail to actually see who was on that list. I'm gonna go back and do that. But I don't know if Cardi was on that list. Mm. Oh, thank you so much, Dorothy. You know, I don't look at them. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, Church Nelly, I'm dead. That is not how I sound when I have an orgasm. uh, would it be TMI to say that I haven't actually had one in a while? Oh, that's not how I sound when I have an orgasm. Oh, I love you guys. Uh, uh, do you know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start screen printing all of your funny comments, and then I'm gonna put them in like an ebook and like publish it. Funny squad moments. Oh hi Sherry. Better late than never. Oh, okay. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Cynthia, Megan said that she's peaceful under a tree. That's what haters don't understand, peace. Yes, and that's why they want to mess up other people's peace. We know that the silence is portrayed by her speaks louder than the explosion of the Tonga volcanic. Amen. Oh, okay. Hayden, are you headed to America by any chance? Not anytime soon, I'm afraid. Maybe not for a couple of years. I have to focus on um, well, I'd just rather go somewhere still a little bit closer to the UK, which is why I'm looking at mainland Europe. I don't want to go too far. And while I'm there, um, building my homestead back in Zambia. So I'd love to come to the US, but not anytime soon. I really want to visit New York again. I went when I was like 15, and I feel like I was a little bit, a little bit of a brat back then, if I'm being honest, and I didn't really appreciate it. And I'd love to go back to New York. Even Disneyland. Disneyland was one of my favorite holidays, actually. Disneyland, Florida, and I would love to do Disneyland again as an adult and just be a big kid. Oh, Alita, never, ever, ever feel bad about not donating. I just appreciate your presence here. And if, anyone um that doesn't feel like they have enough money to donate, I never expect anybody to donate. Do it if you feel like you can afford it and if you want to. Never feel pressured to donate at all. Okay. Still talking about the necklaces. You're by telling the necklaces. And you know what? Also, guys and dolls, let's not um let's not underestimate just um how much of a difference Christopher Boozy's report um has made by itself, just by being published. It is making a huge difference. It's doing the rounds. It's being spread by so many different news channels all over the world. And more people are getting to understand how much of this hate campaign towards Meghan was mass coordinated. So let's not get too bogged down just because the trolls are still there. The difference is still being made, and we need to count all of the wins. And Christopher Boozy's report and the way that it is going viral across so many news stations, that in itself is a win. So far, I think it's only People magazine that pulled the story down, and that's because we know that they have some links with the trolls and with KP. So let's count the wins as well. Yes, cookies and cream. It's not just about Cardi B and Meghan. It's about character assassination, harassment, and suicidal ideations. It's about the whole culture um, that surrounds the tabloids and people like the royal rodents and just how they're able to get away with all of this. It's insane. And also, it's the people that we need to stop feeding the beast. A long, long time ago, I stopped watching things like TMZ. I stopped buying the tabloids because the more you buy into it, the more the machine just, keeps on churning. Mm. Mm. Chad Fletcher, what's going on with Twitter? Why are they pushing the British royal family on us? Have you noticed the past few days they have been recommending them? Yes, Ty Fletcher. So I was actually going to talk about this in a completely different video because I've got screenshots, but seeing as you said it, there is something going on with the individual categories. So all of a sudden, from about 2 days ago, when I get recommended stories on the individual categories, they're all about the royals, they're all about Kate, they're all about William. And I thought it was just me until another squaddy mentioned that it was happening to her as well. And then more people started commenting that it's happening to them as well. So I don't know how Twitter advertising works because I've never worked with Twitter ads. I've only ever worked with Facebook ads. Um, but usually, if it's an ad that's being pushed or some kind of money that's being pushed behind it, you would see. But maybe that's not the case with Twitter, depending on what type of ads you're pushing. But all of a sudden, I absolutely do agree with you, Ty Fletcher, and the many other people in the squad have said it. It's like they're being just force fed loads of content that seems like it's coming out of Kensington Palace and all of these articles from different news outlets about the other set in Kensington Palace. It's very, very strange. Clutching your fake pals. Is that because of what I said? Shadell, oh, you have a fantastic weekend too, darling. Uh, I think the channels have been demonetized. Really? I haven't looked into that. Why do you think the channels have been demonetized if you're still in the chat, Mrs. V? Have they stopped posting or something? I haven't checked on them. I get my news about what's going on with the trolls from Twitter and Christopher Boozy. Thank you, Sandy. Yes, Anita. Unfortunately, reporters and journalists to account for their own lies and misinformation, yet the profession can't understand why the public has no faith in them. Yeah, I've pretty much stopped watching a lot of even mainstream media that speaks more to my, I guess you could say, views and values. I don't watch as much because I still understand that there is often still an agenda there, that there is often still misinformation and lies there, because sometimes they are pushed into a corner by whoever's funding them and whoever's at the top. So even if it's a news channel or a journalist or a media outlet that speaks more to your political or social position, I think one still has to have an understanding that you're not always necessarily being fully informed or fully being told the truth. So I am a lot more cautious now with media because time after time after time again, even media that I thought that I trusted and have been shown to be liars, and that's very, very unfortunate because the media should be there to inform us and inform us truthfully. And when they don't, it's what gives room to all of these kind of independents that have popped up and also tell lies, tell worse lies, and outright just misinform people. So journalists themselves, in many ways, not all of them, but I would say particularly in the mainstream media, have destroyed their own profession. Um, yes, money is behind all the hate against Meghan. So we have to figure out how we cut that money supply off. Okay. Try and get through your comments a little bit faster. Yes, 100% Sonia. Freedom of speech does not mean you have the right to threaten or malign someone's character. I'm sure her legal advisor will take a look into that. Yeah, sure they will. Alicia, I can't wait for the UK Prime Minister to get out. I mean, I can't wait to not have to see his face again, but I don't have any faith in whoever's going to replace him, if I'm completely honest with you. I think we'll have like a couple months honeymoon period, and then whoever replaces him will be just as useless. That's only just because I have no more faith in UK politics. Mm. Whew, a lot of comments today. It's Friday and you're all very chatty. Mm, let's see. Beyonce trademarked Blue Ivy's name. Good for Blue Ivy. That kid's going to be earning a lot of money. The best way to stop all the negative press is to cut off the source. H&M need to stop the attacks on the royals. What? Okay, we have a troll. um, Harry and Meghan have never attacked the royals, Andre. They've just spoken their truth, and they're very mature adults. So goodbye. Um, oh, Janet's documentary on Lifetime tonight. I hope she drags the NFL executives and everyone who made such a big deal out of that whole Super Bowl thing. Oh, it makes me so angry. The way they dragged her and slated her, and the way that, you know, Justin Timberlake just slithered away unscathed. I mean, the whole thing was just ridiculous. I hope she drags them. I love Janet. She needs to be given her flowers for what she went through so unnecessarily. Because I just but like if you know like a Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera had done like the exact same thing, you know, it would have been like, oh, you know, shock horror, good girl gone bad, but they wouldn't have been, you know, dragged through the mud the way Janet was. Like it just it still makes me angry to this day. Let us know how it is. Robin, I have a list of YouTube top advisors. I'm sending letters to the marketing department with a copy of the Bots Sentinel report. That's a good idea too, Robin. Keep knocking on their doors. Bye, Miss V. Have a great weekend. Sonia, well, your comment was blocked. I don't know. Any other mods? Did you accidentally hide Sonia's comment? I don't know why your comment was blocked, darling. I mean, I can see this comment that you made, so maybe someone accidentally blocked you. Maybe you used the word that um the chat section doesn't like. I don't know. Don't know, darling. I didn't block you though. The Met asked the person who did the report to redact some of. Oh, if you're referring to the report about the Christmas parties, yes. And what did I say about the commission, the lead commission officer of the Met, Cressida Dick? She was given an honor by Charles. So huge conflict of interest there. The Met, the royal family, and the government is, you know, just a revolving door. I don't think there's anything in that report, to be honest with you, that's of any use, because I feel like there's going to be a huge outrage about whatever's in it, and then it will just go away. Oh, thank you, Lydia. You are all my beacon of light as well. You give my day joy. Crystal J. Queen waited to promote Kate. She didn't want to risk antagonizing Harry. So I'm assuming that you are referring to this new thing about Kate being given one of Harry's patronages for for rugby, which I'm sure Kate is a massive fan of. I'm sure she's a massive fan of rugby, and that's why they gave her Harry's patronage for what was it, like the rugby league or something like that. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. I don't know what she's going to do with that patronage because she was called out by one of her patronages for not showing up for like what, 8 years? And I don't believe that she has an interest in rugby. So why would they give it to her? I mean, if anything, give it to William because at least he probably has an interest in rugby. But I believe that a lot of those guys in that organization, they really respect Harry. And wasn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a rugby player who somebody was going to blackmail him about his HIV status, and then Harry stood up for him, and they actually let him talk about it on the Sussex Royal platform. So, Harry has a very, very deep connection with the people in that rugby patronage in a way that Catherine just does not. And I don't know if she's capable of building that type of connection and having that type of empathy. Um, and that's not me being mean, that's just from my observation of her working with other patronages. Not being purposely mean, it's just based on observation. Thank you so much, Nickster. Happy Friday. Blessings to you, darling. You guys light up my life too. We all have each other. Oh my god, you know what I just thought about? A Sussex squad retreat. A Sussex squad retreat. We could do yoga. We could cook all of Megan's favorite dishes and drink to Galamo. We're gonna make all of this happen, guys and dolls. We're gonna have that mega Sussex Squad live event, Tony Robbins style, and then we're gonna have the Sussex Squad retreat. We're gonna do it all. It's reported that the metaverse has already turned into a wild west of abuse and harassment. I want nothing to do with the metaverse. I mean, we can't deal with abuse and harassment in real life. We can't deal with abuse and harassment on the internet that we have now. And in the metaverse, which is going to be so much more interactive. Christ, no. I heard that apparently real estate, like virtual real estate, is going for tens of thousands of. I mean, listen, I like real life. I like to be as close to nature and the natural world, which we're moving away from in a way that I think is very dangerous. I like to be close to the natural as much as possible. I'm a little bit of a hippie, so the idea of the metaverse just it scares the bejeebers out of me, and it doesn't surprise me at all if it's turning into the wild west of abuse and harassment. um, Vinny, after her dog's broken legs, Meghan won't trust her babies to be in another royal home. Yeah, I'm still trying to dig for more information about the whole thing with the dog breaking its legs. Like, how does a dog break its legs like that? If somebody is a dog or a pet owner, please let me know. But it does sound very, very suspicious. Mm. Yes, Diane, that is literally what I thought about when people started mentioning Charles have food tasters. Poison is the weapon of royals, has been for centuries. uh, Reba, I 100% agree with that. I think it was all a plan to keep Meghan and the children out because Meghan and the kids are going to be the draw. If they step foot in the UK, oh my goodness, people will go wild. They'll want to see Meghan, they'll want to see the children. All of the attention will be on them, and they know it. They don't want to sit, what they don't want is a situation where, despite all of their trolling and despite all of their efforts, all the money and the time that they are putting into trying to destroy Meghan, they don't want a situation where she comes to the UK and the UK public, the court of public opinion, lets it be known that Meghan is still loved. And I do believe, despite all the hate, and it was very much shown during the leaving tour before they left the UK for Canada, that Meghan is still loved. Meghan and Harry are still loved. And they do not want a situation where that becomes even more clear on UK soil. I do believe that. And I agree with your comment. You have a fabulous day too, Danielle. Oh gosh. So I'm trying to get all the way down to the bottom. Right, I'm gonna skip a few comments. Sorry if I skip your comment, but I'm trying to get all the way to the bottom. Mm. Mary, yes, I did see the donation drive for that person that got fired. I don't know what the original reason was for them to get fired. I think it's something that the trolls dug up, like, or basically went to her workplace with videos that she was making about Harry and Meghan or something like that. But it seems like most of the squad have her back. So yeah, and they've been helping her. I think she raised something like, is it $10,000? Like the squad have really raised a lot of money for her. And yeah, she got fired because the trolls went after her because of videos that she was making supporting Harry and Meghan. I saw Christopher Boozy tweeting about it, but I haven't really followed it up that closely, if I'm honest. Um, but yeah, it seems like the squad is helping her out, and she'll be okay. And I believe that she's building her platforms, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, so I'm sure she'll be fine. I feel like she should probably, I don't know, she probably doesn't want to go through the effort, but I don't understand why her workplace would fire her for comments that she was making about Harry, Meghan, and the royals. Like, that's got nothing to do with her work. Mm. Yeah, Elaine, and they were trying to get her GoFundMe taken down, but I don't think they'll be successful. If anything, the squad will just start donating through PayPal or something. Was TMZ now owned by Murdoch? That's scary. Is that true? Somebody check that, please. That's very scary if that's true. I stopped watching TMZ after they almost destroyed Britney Spears. That was the end of it for me. And I feel like they, in their early days, TMZ, they very much created this environment of, like watching celebrities just melt down and people kind of enjoying it. I feel like they were really the ones that pushed that culture. So I avoid TMZ. And, just a lot of the things that they do, I don't understand how they're able to get, private information, sometimes even before families are allowed to. So I heard that Kobe Bryant's wife, forgive me, I forget her name, but I heard that she found out about her husband's death um even after it was put out. Basically, TMZ put it out first, so she didn't even know what had happened, which is just insane. I'd love to see all the Meghan and Harry bloggers on one podcast. I'm sure if it was for charity, we should definitely make that happen. I will mention that to Tina. Diane, allegedly Andy's a private citizen. We hear he's looking for a gig. I hear the Pancake House is hiring. Or maybe he can work at Build-A-Bear. That's where Andy I think would be the most happy. He'd be happy at Build-A-Bear. Mm. Oh, is Justin gonna make an appearance in Janet's documentary? Oh, okay, I might have to watch it now. Does Janet make an appearance in Janet's documentary? Yes, that was the guy. Les Moves. She should sue him. We're just like so unfair the way they went after her. I feel like if that happened now, a lot more people would support Janet. It's a very different world we're living in now from that time. See. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Um, oh, thank you, Nixter. Have you donated twice? Is this your second donation? Thank you, because I feel like I've seen your name before, but thank you so much for that. You have a blessed weekend too, Joy. Okay, I think I'm almost at like near the bottom. Oh, also, Cousin Dolls, I just ordered the Diana book with Andrew Morton, so I'm gonna read that and review it. Do you want me to do like a chapter by chapter review and talk through, or just like read the whole book and review it? Because I'll definitely be taking notes while reading that. Um, Roseanne, you have two dogs and they don't break legs like that. Someone hurt the dog deliberately to hurt and traumatize Meghan, as most abusers do. Remember, they took her passport and cards. Yeah. Gosh, I feel like there's just so much more that happened in that royal household that we'll never know about. And I just can't imagine how traumatizing it must have been for Meghan. And even now, like, when they went to New York, I could see in Meghan's face that like her smile wasn't quite meeting her eyes, and like it wouldn't surprise me if some of the trauma still gets to her now, because I just can't imagine what it must have been like to be around people who are so powerful but would hurt you for no good reason. Mm. So hopefully they do something amazing the week of the Jubilee and draw the oxygen away from the royals. I think they will avoid planning anything around the Jubilee because then the British press will accuse them of taking oxygen away from the royals. Do you know what I think could happen in the days or the weeks leading up to the Jubilee? And this is just a guess. I think that you might have some journalists who've been waiting to release stories or do stories about the royals or that shine the royals in a bad light, some kind of exposés or something like that. To release it like just before the Jubilee would be masterful because then all of the attention is going to be on the royals. That'll be like the best time to do it. Hello, Treasure Chick. Blessings to you. Bye, Joan. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, Dorothy, off to find the candles and torch. Window. Yes, UK squaddies, make sure that if you've got things like, trees that might be like tilted over in your backyard already, or just, anything that could be carried off by the wind in your backyard or your house, make sure it's even just you take it down yourself or it's bolted down because there will be winds of it's actually up to 80 miles an hour here in the UK. So just be mindful of that. We have a tree that's basically falling out of its roots, and we've decided to just pull it out because that could do some damage if the winds carry it away. Virginia, apparently the troll found a tweet she made when she was 19 and used that to get her fired. Wow. Wow. That's how far they're going, right? Absolutely awful. Well, they did her a favor because now she's got like what? The last I checked, oh, hello, SJ Gore. Thank you for becoming a new member. The last I checked, she had like $10,000, probably more now, and it's probably going to be more. I mean, she's got a good couple months of living expenses in her pocket, so she's got plenty of time to look for a job or just to build her platform. So they basically did her a favor. They thought they were doing something by going after a journalist. And the only platform who they've been able to get to remove an article about the Bot Sentinel report is People magazine. So they need to bring it down to 5 because they're not as powerful as they think. Oh, burn, burn, Danielle. I won't read out that comment, but burn. You laid the burn, Danielle, but it's the truth. Joyce Karma came for Les Mouvers and he was out for CBS. Oh, really? I didn't know about that. Thanks for pointing that out. So someone who, had an issue with a woman showing her nipple covering, um, was abusing women themselves. The hypocrisy. And then I definitely believe the media will press hard to whatever's needed to get the Sussexes to the UK. They're thirsty for photos with cute kids with red hair, especially. Oh my goodness, 100%. I mean, as soon as Lilibet's red hair starts growing, they want that picture. That is £1 million picture for sure. They're so desperate for it, and it's just creepy to be honest with you. I mean, even as a fan, like I appreciate whatever Harry and Meghan want to do with their children. If they want to show us pictures, they can show us pictures. But like, I'm not out here like I want to see Lily, I want to see Archie. Like, it's creepy. They can do what they want with their children and show us as much of their children as they want to. And I think most of the people in the squad respect that. But with like the royal rodents, like they're so desperate to see those kids just for the money. It's creepy and gross. Mm. Maybe Kate's going to turn out just pregnant on the day. Well, it will definitely be a distraction. That's for sure. Will Billy bring Rose? Well, Rose's husband is one of the queen's. He's on the queen's court, so you'll often see pictures of him literally holding the crown. So he's at quite a lot of state functions. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rose was at the Jubilee or her husband was at the Jubilee because he's on the Queen's Court. Red hair dye skyrocketed? Really? Wow. That's interesting. Okay, oh wow, I think I actually managed to get to the bottom of your comments. Amazing. So now that I'm at the very, very bottom, who's going to get the last say? Um, La Roque, the Duchess having won twice to shame these giant poisonous snakes from eating her alive. They are lived and will go through the great strengths to avoid that from happening again. Yeah. Mm. Rochelle, I agree with your shade, but I'm not going to put it on the screen. But I agree with your shade. Well, Lilybell, Rose showed up to the Trump state dinner without her ring, and she showed up basically hand in hand with Sarah Vine. I mean, that's another thing that just blows my mind. The fact that she shows up with a woman who's written awful articles about Meghan. Mm. Okay, Elaine, I think I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Good night and God bless Squaddies wherever you are in the world. I think that's a wonderful, wonderful way to end. Thank you so much to everyone who has donated today. You have truly, truly humbled me. And thank you, just all of you, as always, for coming. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I will start a separate channel for like more level up content, because that was really the original theme of this channel and always what I wanted to do. It just kind of morphed into a news channel, which is fine, and I do believe in listening to your audience and um, what they want, and I'm so glad that you all gave me that feedback. But content about like leveling up and like doing positive things to glow up your life, like that is my main passion. So if you are interested in that, like I said, I will let you know when it's live. You have no obligation whatsoever to subscribe to that channel. If you want to, you want to. If you don't, you don't. That's absolutely fine. But that's all for today. Thank you, everyone. Yes, Vinny, no bad energy, and I will play us out. Peace, love, and light, everyone.